The Nissan GTR is a car that snacks on 911s and has Audi R8 Pluses as the main course. Behind me is the car that is the cult that is the Nissan GTR. You know, on paper, it's pretty much the perfect car. The performance figures are staggering. Why then don't I know anyone that owns one? But it's here now, it's fast, so let's see what all the fuss is about. So as I'm heading out onto the racetrack here in the GTR, remember the car comes absolutely loaded with electronics. But one of the criticisms that I've heard and maybe I've adopted about the GTR is that maybe the computers are driving and not the driver. So with that in mind, I'm going to obviously turn off everything I can, turn that to racing mode, suspension to racing mode, that was the diff to racing mode, the suspension to racing mode, and traction controlled to racing mode. All right, so that means I now have the ability to do launch control, which is cool. So left foot on the brake, right foot on the gas, 4 and a bit thousand revs, go. Right. Bloody hell. All right, it does take off. Takes off like someone just stole it from the valet. But one of my intentions of driving the GTR today was, it really is almost the #1 talked about car on any blog and forum, and you guys always compare every car Motor Trend tests to the GTR, but it's kind of its own animal. Over $100,000 means you expect something that is of rock star status. Do you get it? It's got 545 horsepower, 463 foot-pounds of torque, so it's got the ponies under there. But what everyone talks about is how it delivers that. It has a 6-speed dual clutch, which I think is a little behind some of the other elite super sports cars. But, I mean, it's not slow, it's just not seamless. When you go into the corners, there's this lurch of understeer, lurch of push that is a little debilitating at first until you find the happy balance, the happy medium. You actually have to get a little bit old school on how she drives. You've got to brake nice and neatly. Let's do it here. So brake, not too late. Electronics let me brake late. Turn in, roll through the corner, get on the gas earlier than you think, power it out, wait for the turbo to spool up, and then carry the dynamics of the car through to exit. It's just interesting, that fine balance in an all-wheel drive car, because you just have to have patience. Who'd have thunk it? You need patience in a bloody GTR. That's not what I came here thinking I was going to have to do. Listen to that though, listen. It's awful. The noise on this car, I think for me, is the most disappointing factor. It just doesn't sound like anything. It sounds a little bit, as I accelerate, like my old grandfather clearing his dodgy throat. And then it does get clear and it screams a little. Oh, that's where it was excellent. Going in there under the brakes with the weight of the car carrying me sideways, actually solid as a rock, very stable platform, high-speed understeer here through this fast section, but direction change, very good as long as you balance the throttle at the right moment. Otherwise, I think you're going to disappear and head towards an early grave. So it's fast, it's energetic, it's dynamic, it's technical, it is fun, But does it have soul, man? I don't know. Does it have soul? Well, I've never done this before, but having just got out of the car, I need to address something. Now, I know a lot of you Motor Trend fans, according to the blogs and forums, are madly passionate about that car. And I can only conclude that not many of you have actually ever driven one. Now, the chassis is pretty sophisticated, we know that. It's got the right sort of suspension on it, and it's been well developed over the last, what, 7 years the GTR's been around. But you know what? It's brutally efficient. It does get there, it brakes very well, it turns in, and then the all-wheel drive system starts to let you down. And maybe the problem with the all-wheel drive system is that it's the split, the differential between the front and the rear. Because in that R8 Plus we tested not long ago, I said it at the time, that's almost the best rear-wheel drive I've ever experienced, with the benefit of the front wheels engaging as well. Here, it's just old school. Dollops of understeer, wait, little bit of grip, power on oversteer. Maybe on the street, it's extraordinary because in that confined urban environment or on the freeway, you'd feel like a god. But on a racetrack, it's just not so impressive. But I do want to take something back I said in my drive earlier, and that is the gearbox. As I did a number of laps, I started to get more familiar with it, and it certainly uses that 6-speed gearbox to its best effect. That is a big plus. So did I have fun? I did actually have a tremendous amount of fun. As much as I thought I would, actually not. Check back each week for more on your eBay Motors mobile app.